Really, it's very bad situation now, and a lot of families are now in the streets. There are heavy shelling around the hospital. Its motors and air forces are flying and make attacks. So I don't know if it's okay. Last days we were hearing about a deal between Syrian government and the rebels, between United States and Russian, but we didn't hear anything on the ground. So we don't know what's happening now, but what we exactly know that the regime is too close from us, and that will be a big massacre if he takes our area. A lot of injuries in the last days were attacked when they were make a group to go together to government areas. I've seen a lot of children, a lot of women. They were so afraid. They were so surprised because they were talking that we were going to the regime area. Why he killed us? I don't want to go out from the city. It's my Aleppo. It's my lovely city. Maybe it's just some faith in our hearts to be strong, to maybe this disaster will be finished and we will be okay.
The fight for an ancient city lit up the night sky with tracer-fire bullets. Pyrotechnic propaganda to show the advance by Islamic State fighters onto an emblematic battleground. IS launched a surprise attack on Palmyra on Thursday, taking control of nearby oil and gas fields, and purported to have captured Syrian army camps, killing dozens of soldiers. Since then, they've been met by a counter-attack from Syrian troops, backed by Russian airstrikes. Now clashes are ongoing, with both IS and the Syrian government claiming the upper hand. The fear is the city and Palmyra's Roman-era ruins could fall to so-called Islamic State again. Until March this year, they had been plundering relics, torturing and executing people in the ancient theatre.
I'm sure the new occupation of the Palmyra by ISIS, it will be a big catastrophe for the future of the buildings, ancient buildings in Palmyra. A lot of the troops of ISIS attacked Palmyra, many thousand persons. That give me a lot of bad news, bad hope about the future of the Palmyra. What's good for me, at least, that we transported all artifacts from the Palmyra before and after the liberation. Many thousand objects from the Palmyra already in Damascus is good news for me as Director General of Antiquity and Museum. But how I can protect all the buildings in the Palmyra, I am not optimist.
Just 7 months ago, Palmyra's amphitheatre was filled with the mournful sound of a top Russian orchestra to mark its liberation. A deliberately staged display contrasting civilization against the barbarism of IS. But elsewhere in Syria, Russia is accused of backing brutality. In Aleppo, it's supporting Syrian government forces as they close in on the remaining districts held by the opposition. In the last few hours, Syrian opposition officials say the US and Russia have offered a deal to guarantee safe passage for fighters and their families out of the city. It could finally mean an end to the battle for Aleppo, just as another fight has re-begun. The governor of Palmyra province believes the ancient city has fallen to IS. Now many await with dread what scenes may play out at this amphitheatre once again. They don't know where they're going, they just want to get out. 20,000 civilians fled rebel-held eastern Aleppo, heading towards government-controlled areas. Some have been walking for 8 hours. Possessions piled up in wheelbarrows, sacks and bags. Parents tightly clasping children. How do you explain a humanitarian emergency to them? This woman says her 15-year-old son has been arrested by the Syrian army, accused of fighting with rebels.
We have no one here. We don't know where to escape to. His name is Ali Mohammed. He doesn't have ID.
The UN is concerned hundreds of men have vanished. Russia says 93% of Aleppo is now under Syrian government control. This drone footage was released showing people leaving through a humanitarian corridor.
During the evacuation of the civilians, the Syrian forces have halted their military actions. Once the evacuation is complete, the liberation of the eastern districts of Aleppo by the Syrian army will resume. The militants will be chased out or destroyed.
Syrian troops are closing in on the last pockets of opposition. This is just south of the citadel in the old city yesterday. The government says it's reduced its offensive to allow evacuations, but activists say heavy clashes are still underway.
The plane is 24 hours in the sky, just targeting. People here are so scared. You can see this fear in their eyes. This helpless situation, can destroy their psychology.
In Paris, backers of the Syrian opposition seem to accept Assad will fully retake Aleppo. The US is urging Russia to reach a deal so civilians and fighters can leave the city.
The indiscriminate bombing by the regime, which violates international rules of law, of war, in many cases crimes against humanity and war crimes, needs to stop. And those who support it, those in Moscow and elsewhere who have supported it, should do their utmost to bring it to a close. Civilians who want to be able to depart the scene of this warfare, who are caught in the middle, who have little choice, and who should not be used as human shields by either side, it is vital for those people to be able to make a choice to leave if they want to. And it is only a matter of fundamental human decency that they be allowed to leave.
Those meeting in Paris say they're working to ensure Aleppo is saved from being completely destroyed. But so much of it has already been reduced to a shell. And a 6-year war in Syria, with 300,000 people killed and so many more displaced, is still not over.
Hold on a sec, don't leave just yet. Honestly, we've got some of the best journalism in the world on this, so click on one of the videos on screen now. And for goodness sake, subscribe if you haven't already, so you never miss a video again. Remember, get your latest Syrian news here every Monday.